I sure didn't expect my experience fighting the wild-hunted Nodcry to come in handy back here in Mondstadt. Almost makes me wonder if this was the reason I was sent back. Also, how come that bard knows so much, and what was he doing at the Thousand Winds Temple? Well, whatever. I don't really care. As long as I get to do some fighting. I'm looking forward to trading blows with Lupus Boreas when he's fully recovered. I better wipe the
I can read Varka's letter. I will try my best to write a reply.
Wolf's claws make poor instruments for writing human words. But that token will suffice to convey my thoughts.
Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nodcry. The root of this turmoil lies with the remnant soul that Andreas, dominator of wolves and god of the North Wind, left in Nodcry. He once left Nodcry and braved the blizzards to confront the god of storms and claim the right to rule. Yet even as the tower fell, he chose to abandon his claim. Instead, he returned to the north and slumbered for 1,000 years before finally journeying back, under the name of Boreas, with the first Knight of Boreas to witness the new face when the wolf spirit could no longer maintain his physical form. Boreas chose to pour his power into the ley lines. With that, he became the North Wind of Mondstadt, as he is still known to this day. Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nodcry. 500 years ago, Roland seemed destined to become the mightiest Knight of Boreas ever to have lived. But he believed firmly in his own ideals of chivalry, vowing to eliminate all injustice from the world. But the world had never been perfect and pure, nor would it ever be. Neither his mentor, the wolf pup Rostam, nor the Grand Master, known as the Lion of Light, could persuade him to temper his obsession. But what was the scent that reeks of blood that Lupus Boreas sensed? And what is its connection to Conria and the Abyss? Perhaps you will uncover the truth in Nodcry. Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nodcry. The soul of a wolf is as unyielding as ice, and Andreas is a master of molding and shaping it. His people once drew great strength and wisdom from the wolf spirit, but human hearts and flesh cannot contain the soul of a god. Attempting to place the wolf spirit in a human vessel would slowly devour their sense of self. Even if Lupus Boreas did not, that's why Lupus Boreas developed the technique of imbuing weapons with his soul. It is his way of blessing his human Lupical with the wolf spirit's protection. In fact, there is an ancient song that tells this tale. A weapon once of common iron, now through friendship turned divine. Twixt man and wolf a bond was made, a power born within the blade. As much as he might claim not to accept humans, his actions sing a different tune. Oh, but keep that little observation between us, will you? Any questions before you set off? Better ask now. You'll probably have to hit the ground running when you get to Nod. All right, over to you, Dvalin.
The Knight of Boreas awaits below. We must part ways here. Barbatos and I have other plans. We will meet you again later.
All right. Hey, wait. How are we getting down?
Hold the line! The enemy's on the brink of collapse!
Grandmaster! It's...
Haha! Reinforcements! It's about time!
And I'm on too!
We're just about hanging in there. Most of their grunts are taken care of now. Their leader's gonna have to make a decision soon. Fight or flight? What will it be, mightiest knight of Boreas?
As expected, this hastily summoned Wild Hunt horde is nothing but a disorganized rabble. A mere shadow of the forces gathered by the Rahir of Solmari. But they have served their purpose. I now understand your tactics, and you, in turn, understand mine. This is fair. This is the way of chivalry. Farewell, heir to the knighthood of Boreas. Whether you choose to resist me or not, I shall set right the injustices of this world. In the name of the blood-stained knight.
Guess they're retreating for now.
So that Wolf of the North look-alike, that was Andreas? But why would he be leading the Wild Hunt? And, forget that. We can save the details for later. He was the enemy boss, right?
There's no point chasing after him. We've crossed blades already, and it ended in a stalemate. Right now, there's nothing we can do about him. True. We're still not certain of his true identity, but whether he's a god corrupted by the Abyss or a legendary knight, killing him might be just about possible. Especially, the difficult part is, we can't kill him right now.
Huh? What do you mean? Is he immortal?
No. Judging from our skirmishes so far, I don't think he's got any special abilities of that caliber. Nor does he have the ridiculous level of power wielded by the Five Sinners. But, compared to Rerir, our current foe clearly has a better understanding of how to exploit Nodcry to his advantage. Particularly when it comes to Andreas' remnant soul. Exactly. Sounds like you realize what the crux of the issue. I managed to cut off a sample from our foe, which Albedo and Durin are analyzing as we speak. Meanwhile, our other allies should be making their way home from their own battles by now. Let's discuss this further when they're back. We still have some big challenges ahead before this expedition can finally be declared a victory.
We mercs have one simple rule. Whoever pays the most is your new boss.
Gonna be in the biggest tent, right? Looks like a bunch of people are there already. Why don't we go chat with them?
Good to see you again. Oh, but she went to see Lauma and Columbina at the Frost Moon Scions. Apparently, there haven't been any changes to that space the Rahir of Solnari's in.
That means the recent wild hunt attacks have nothing to do with Riri, right? Whew, that's a relief.
They're keeping a close watch on it just in case. With so many moon experts on the case, oh yeah, Lauma and Columbina asked me to pass on a message too. Focus on the enemy you are facing. You know something? These Knights of Favonius are paying me a pretty nice sum to deliver it.
Short distance propulsion module on cooldown. 15 minutes until next departure. Switching to chat mode. Hello there, Paimon, Traveler. Varko placed a sizable order with the Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop. I know is hard at work producing the strategic reserve, while I am handling the deliveries. Secondly, I am also here to attend the meeting in her place.
Lightkeeper's rep will be Itlua or Nikita.
You're quite right. However, Itlua and Nikita are both busy organizing the Ratniki's region-wide response to the recent attacks. And since I'm well acquainted with everyone else here, I was the one they recommended to attend the meeting. Sometimes you don't get a choice when there might be consequences down the line.
Hey, Honorary Knight. Looks like pretty much everyone's here. Oh, Beto and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. You want to wait for them here? That works too. All right. You keep gathering. Hey, Honorary Knight. Oh, Beto and Durin are just wrapping up their analysis. Great. While we're waiting, could you update me on the situation? And that's where things stand. The Wild Hunt is no longer under the Reikir of Solnari's control, but it has been reborn from the ashes and is now launching intel from the Frost Moon Scions and the Curatorium of Secrets corroborates this. No disturbances have been detected in the space where Rere resides. What we are facing here is a completely new foe.
Summarizing current situation. To confirm, the present leader of the Wild Hunt is the creature.
More precisely, it's the external will that has seized control of Andrias' spirit.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I'm completely lost. Isn't Roland some monster? How'd he suddenly get wrapped up with a god from 1,000 years in the past?
Allow us to explain that part. Are you familiar with compensation mechanisms? When an organism sustains damage, relevant tissues will undergo changes to offset the loss of function. For example, when one kidney is damaged, the other will be strengthened to compensate. Or when a main artery is similarly. When the Wild Hunt lost their leader, the Abyss harnessed the memories that flow throughout the ley lines to fashion a new one. That new leader is a mirror image of Roland, the Bloodstained Knight.
Right. No matter how strong the compensation is, it will never quite match the functionality of the Roland replica can't possibly imitate Rere's overwhelming power, nor his ability to disguise himself as others. So, the Abyss made use of the connection between Roland and Boreas to compensate for this lack of—
The replica corrupted and took control of Andrias as he slumbered by the bank of Amsvartnir, ultimately manifesting as the giant beast that you all witnessed. However, exactly why the Abyss chose Roland to mimic, and indeed how it was able to do so—
I guess he must have gotten caught up with the Abyss or Nodcry somehow during his wanderings through Tevat. But we can keep those questions on the back burner.
Okay, Paimon gets all that, but what did you mean when you said we can't kill him right now?
We can't kill him right now because a dead god may prove more dangerous than a living one. From intelligence gathered during the expedition, we have reason to believe that the power released when a god is felled can have catastrophic consequences for us mortals. Worse still, the wrath that remains after a god's passing becomes a source of endless turmoil. Once god remains contaminate the land, they will persist for thousands of years. This land has already been ravaged by the Wild Hunt. If we add god remains to the mix, it'd be like adding salt to an open wound, placing everyone who lives here in perilous danger.
Query. While I can indeed find records of disasters caused by god remains in my database, there also appear to be cases of gods dying naturally with no ill effects. In that land, the passing of the Pyro-Archon's flame is a common occurrence throughout history, and even the part of Andreas who remains in Mondstadt has experienced death.
Great question. Glad you asked. Honorary Knight, you said Lupus Boreas gave you a token to pass on to me? Please, present it now. It should help explain things faster. Come forth, Boreas!
This form has come to the end of its time. I'm afraid I can accompany you no further. My soul will fall into silence, and my power will flow into the ley lines of this land. Perhaps this. Do not grieve for me, for this is the end I have chosen. Instead, remember that a final wish before I slumber.
You saw it too. You must have keen powers of perception. Not that it surprises me. That was Boreas' final thoughts before merging with the ley lines. It's the reason Mondstadt remains unharmed by his god remains. In his final moments, he made a choice to give everything he was to the ley lines. All to protect Mondstadt from harm.
Sounds like Andreas spent thousands of years searching for his place in the world, too.
Yes. And now our task is to return the answer he found, the decision he made, to Andreas' heart. Only then can he break free from the corruption and control of the Abyss, and make that decision once more.
I see. I would say that planting thoughts inside the mind of a god sounds a little far-fetched, but since it was his own wish to begin with...
Wait, we already have a perfect solution? Then why are we...
Ha ha ha. If only it were that simple. Unfortunately, this one thought alone is unlikely to be powerful enough to break through the abysses. We need to find a way to make the thought within this sword stronger and more resilient.
For now, Boreas needs all his remaining strength to fight against the abyssal corruption to Mondstadt's ley lines. He can't afford to send us any more of his power. However, since his form was unstable during his journey with the first Knight of Boreas, many wolf spirit fragments were left behind along the way. If we can collect those fragments, we can use them to strengthen the decision to merge with the ley lines.
So we need to retrace his steps and look for random fragments? But they could be anywhere between Nodcry and Mondstadt. It'll be like looking for a needle in...
You don't need to worry about that. There's a few fragments left to gather in Nodcry. Most of them are already inside this sword. I've been collecting them during the whole expedition.
Huh? Wait, really?
I mean, it's an expedition, not a stroll in the park. Each step of the way, we've been hard at work planning for every possible contingency. Not just the Wild Hunt in the Abyss, but ancient gods remaining in Nodcry.
Sounds like this plan was a long time in the making. It's almost as if you...
As a matter of fact, I did. I caught a glimpse of fate's reflection. But I can't take credit for it. It was all thanks to the help of a few friends. Still, all I foresaw was that an abyssal calamity was brewing in the north. Had I known more, we could have saved a lot of energy. Instead, we've had to make best guesses, prepare for every possible scenario. If all that preparation went to waste, all the better for it. But anything that proved useful, we knew we'd be grateful for down the line. Sure is. Just one crucial step remains. We need to gather the last few wolf spirit fragments scattered around Nodcry, and use them to make the thought within this sword, according to what Boreas told me before we left Mondstadt. His form was at its most unstable at the beginning of his journey. That means the fragments here should be the most powerful ones. But of course, we've been tied up fighting battles since the day we set foot in Nodcry. First with the Wild Hunt, then with the Doctor. So, it wasn't until recently that we were finally able to confirm the status of the Wolf Spirit fragments. We now know there are 3...
Okay, so 3 more mini-expeditions?
I managed to gather 1 fragment before Roland reappeared. I also have a confirmed location for the second, which I'll take care of in short order. As for the 3rd fragment, we've identified a general search area to focus on, but we'll need all hands on deck to pinpoint the exact location. The final snag is that since our foe is a replica of Roland, he too will be aware of Andrias' history. He's sure to try and sabotage our plans by any means.
With our foe being from Mondstadt, it's our duty as Mondstadters to defeat him.
And since the Wild Hunt is involved, the Lightkeepers will provide their full support.
The Clink Clink Krumkake craft shop will also help in any way we can.
So what do they need me here for? Wait, I think maybe I signed a contract at some point. Didn't exactly scrutinize it, though. I mean, to actually...
Ah, great. Knew I could count on you all. Lastly, our friend from the Curatorium of Secrets will provide intel and relay battlefield communications. Looking at you, Yehoda.
So, you'll be darting back and forth across the battlefield, dodging the Wild Hunt and the shadow of an ancient god. I'm impressed by your
Rating for Yehoda updated. Higher quality ingredients will be used to prepare your future meals.
Darn it! I should have known this payday wouldn't come that easy.
I'll deal with the second Wolf Spirit fragment, which we already know the location of. The moment you make any progress with Fragment 3, be sure to give me an update. Traveler, could you join me in retrieving Fragment 2? I have a feeling that your unique constitution might come in handy. All right, time is of the essence. Let's move out, people. Dismissed!
Speaking of contingency plans, I now recall that Barca also made a contingency plan when he asked, perhaps I should ask Aino to prepare some additional backup modules for me.
Remnant fragments of an ancient god. Thoughts stored inside a blade. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I suspect... Then again, the enemy can harness the Wild Hunt to spy on us wherever we go. As our commander,
Yehoda, you dummy! You took the stupid job of your own free will! Crying isn't good.